various different medical conditions, even the same type of scan or the same type of procedure, they could actually do it differently at different places, but it doesn't mean that either one of those is incorrect, okay? So I'll just give an example. So let's say that you're going to get an MRI done, okay? Now, sometimes they put a cushion underneath your knees because it helps them see better what they're looking at. So, for example, if they're looking at your spine in certain places, they might do that, or your hips, right? Now, for a brain MRI, they're not necessarily going to do that, right? Sometimes, if you need contrast with your scan, then sometimes they'll put in the IV catheter first, and they'll have it all ready to go. And then they'll do the contrast. They'll hook you up to the contrast right before the last part of the MRI. Some people, some places, they don't do that. They do the scan that doesn't need the contrast, and then right before the end, that last part of the scan, then they will either inject the contrast or they will place the IV then and then inject the contrast, okay? So, but notice, none of those things are wrong, okay? Those are all correct. You can do any of those. And so, that's just, I just kind of mentioned this because that could be anxiety provoking for some people if they didn't know that, including people with autism. So I just give that example. And I give that example, just anyone from the general public could benefit from this too, right? So just, it's okay if, they give you like a little bit different instructions from place to place to place. But as always, if you ever have any questions or concerns, or you're not too sure about how something works or why they're doing it this way, or especially if there seems to be conflicting information, with what a provider told you or what happened previously, you can always bring that up in a nice way and say, hey, I actually had a question about this because my provider said this, or I had a question because I'm experiencing this, my provider said this, and then you guys are saying this, okay?